And hello, everyone. Welcome to WD Carousel Podcast. My name's Ian.
And I'm Crystal.
And we actually have a guest today.
A special guest.
Indeed.
Hello.
Please say hello, Jenny.
There you go.
There she is.
Nice awkward pause.
Here
We'll
I
work
am.
with it.
Yeah. She's here. And some of you may have heard us talk about Jenny previously about this work she does as Seawitch Adventures and being a travel advisor, travel guide for everyone to go to Disney and other places. So we thought we would have her on and kind of go through some of the stuff that she does with us and all that kind of good jazz.
Yeah, it's a chance to ask the expert, the questions that might be holding you back from using a Disney travel agent, or, she can do other things around the Orlando area too, but really to get an idea of what that means instead of just being like, oh, we're sponsored by a travel agency.
Right.
Well, what does that
This
mean?
weird lady. We say this weird ad every week, and there's this weird lady that it's attached to.
It's okay.
I'm a
It's
real
also a little
person.
awkward. It's only a little awkward, but it's endearing.
It's exactly. That's what
I
we're all
love
about. Perfect. Okay, so let's do we want to start
Yeah, Jenny, why don't you give a little bit of a summary of what you do, and then we will take it from there.
Sure. So I am a travel agent. So I am like, I always picture travel agents like those, like a lady with a blazer on that's like passing out business cards. Like,
Totally see with the
hey,
blazer.
Definitely.
you want to go on a cruise?
The 90s mom haircut.
Yes.
Well, I've got like shoulder pads, like, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I should have
The
worn
fun
my
mom
blazer
energy, the whole
tonight.
thing.
You should have.
Man,
Oh, that would've
missed
worked so
opportunity, y'all.
Oh, wow.
So I am a travel agent. And it always sounds really weird and cheesy to say that. So sometimes I call myself a travel planner. But that's what I do. So I love Disney. My husband and I and our kids, we go all the time. And I thought it would be really fun people used to come to me all the time and say, hey, like, how do I do Disney? Because we go a lot. And I was like, I should make some money off of this. So,
I get those feels. I get those feels a
Absolutely.
lot.
so I decided to look into it and see what it took to become a travel planner. And so I don't work with like a big conglomerate, like there's a bunch of them out there. I am an independent agent. I'm on my own, so this is a small business.
Right.
And so I do have a host agency that I go through, that most independent travel agents go through, but I'm not like AAA or any of those big ones like that.
Right.
I'm a little guy. So I started doing this. It's been a little over a year now that I've been doing it. And, just like any new business, it takes some time to get started. And, but I'm starting to get in my groove now. Like, I've booked a Disney cruise for 11 people and like,
Yeah, you were telling us about that.
Yeah. So
amazing.
I'm doing lots of Disney trips. The 2020 dates just opened, recently.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
you're
been
doing
good.
my trip.
I am.
Yes.
Yay!
You're doing my trip.
I just booked
Yay.
Crystal's birthday trip, so
Hey.
hey.
I say yay, you say yay.
Hey. Yeah, that's
What are you,
awesome.
fawns?
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll get you a leather jacket.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know how to coif your hair quite like that.
It won't happen. It's just
I could
but
try.
You could.
A whole can of
I was gonna say it takes a
Diaper.
lot of like pomade.
Yeah, exactly.
We've lived that life over here in my house.
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of segueing into that. So Crystal, you've just
Yes.
started engaging with Jenny on this very recently,
Yes.
and you've kind of started the process. So why don't we kind of talk through that a little bit?
Sure, I'd be more than happy to do that. So, to be completely honest, it was kind of hard to not have the complete reins, and I'm sure 100% I'm going to be bugging you, Jenny, about everything.
It's okay.
Just because I know what goes into planning a Disney vacation, and so I know what I want, and I know what I need, and I will get it. but I want to work with you because you do get a commission off of this, but it doesn't come out of my pocket. And so it's important to me to help friends out. And especially if it's not going to cost me anything extra, why not give you a couple extra bucks your way to help out instead of just lining Disney's pocket with every single penny?
Yes. So, amen.
And then this will also mean that I'm relying on you. And yes, I'm pointing at the camera. You can't see this because this is audio, but I am relying on you to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and book those fast passes at the 60-day mark.
Yes, I'm going to do that for you, Crystal.
Perfect. So basically what I did is since I already kind of knew what was going on and what I was looking for, I already had a resort location in mind, but it is definitely not required. And when I first reached out to Jenny, she had sent me a sort of survey funsies question thing to fill out to get a feel for where I was looking for, what my price point was, how many people are going to be coming with, and just a number of different facts that she needed to be able to find the right location. So even if you don't have a specific resort in mind for a specific day with a specific room and the specific amount of people, like I might,
no.
she is able to find it.
Yeah. So
and help you plan the trip.
Yeah. So what I do a lot of times, like you were easy because you knew exactly which resort you wanted. But a lot of times I get people that come to me and fill out my form, and I kind of give them a variety. I don't try to overload you, but I look at some of the things that you're that you're interested in, because that's something that I have you fill out on the form, and then I try to match. Or if I need a little more information, I might contact you and say, hey, are you into like a more beachy thing? Or are you into, like if they're thinking about a moderate, maybe like, how do you feel about Louisiana? So, do you like beignets?
Yes, the answer is always yes.
Of course. Always
yes. Especially now that they have those boozy beignets, digressing slightly.
Boy. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. So,
moving on. Yeah. I'm not going to drool anymore about food in this episode, I promise.
You can't promise that. I can't promise that.
So I will give people a couple options, and then we kind of work from there. So most of the time when I send people quotes, it's not spot on. I mean, sometimes I send them a quote and it's like, yes, we like this one, but but we have to do a little bit of tweaking. So, but yeah,
and that's where you come in.
Right.
You say the person, what is it? We calculated it, and it's about, if you wanted to do our Going to Disney series just to find all our tips and tricks, it's like 4 hours worth of recording.
And that's just listening to us talk. That's not even doing it,
No, yeah. And it's jam-packed too. There's like barely a breath in the middle before we get to the next tip.
You guys are talking like times 2.
Definitely.
So if you don't want to have to deal with that headache and trying to be able to distinguish exactly what's going on, Jenny's a really good option. And so that's why I wanted to try her out, not just because she's a friend and I like to give the commission where I can, especially since it's free to me, to friends and support them, but I wanted to be able to take a little bit of a step back as well and not be so concerned about, okay, what day is my 60-day window out? What am I doing this? What am I going to do? Do I want to book this food reservation? Okay, well, what's available? What day do I have it available? Can I do this? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And Jenny, after I finalized with her what room I was going with, because I already knew, let's be honest. And I even messaged her. I'm like, did you get the specific room I asked for? And she was like, yep, I got it all done. And I was like, good.
Jeez.
Pressure.
Have you met me?
Oh, I have. No, I know. I walked into this knowing this was what it was going to be like.
I know exactly what I want. But, she gave me lots of really good resources for more information. Things like the dining plan and making reservations at restaurants and fast passes and a whole bunch of different stuff. Now, she had said to me that she had sent me more documentation than she sends most people. But that's because we were going to be doing this episode, and she wanted to.
I wanted to make sure that you had everything, so you knew kind of like I mean,
you know how detail oriented I am.
well, I am, and that's why I do this, because I'm a planner. Like when you go to Disney, you have to plan. You have to plan.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And so I try to, stay on top of things. And so, I send out lots of emails. Not too many, absolutely. But just, I send you Google Calendar reminders, and then I send you a thing. But the thing about it is, the only thing you have to do is make a decision about, like, hey, I want to ride these rides on this day, or these attractions on this day. And you don't even have to book them. Like, I'll get up and do that for you.
Right.
So there's which I appreciate.
Yeah. It's the Disney cruise one that's the hard one, because it's at midnight for all the excursions. Oof. Yeah, it's rough.
Oof.
Oh, well, that's exciting.
But yeah, I know.
Is it midnight Eastern?
It's midnight Eastern. So
okay.
Yeah.
So to me, that would have been 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
The day before. Yeah. That's kind of odd.
Yeah.
What about the people from California?
Yeah.
Just work with Jenny. It's easier.
It's easier. Yeah.
Just work with Jenny. Let her lose sleep.
Yeah, I know. That should be my new slogan.
Let me lose sleep for you.
We're ready to believe you. Sorry, different movie, different quote.
Yes.
Moving on. But no, she's been really good about keeping up with documentation. And surprisingly, I had asked her, well, not surprisingly, I had asked her, but to plan the resort as well as just get the initial standard tickets started. And she came back with the rate as well as a down payment. But unlike Disney, she did not demand the entire price of the tickets right away.
No.
Which was something unique as well.
Right.
So that way, if you're there for 4 days, 5 days, 10 days, you're not having to put down $500, $600 right away, which you would have had to do through Disney's website.
Yes.
So this was a nice option to be able to work around things as well.
Yes. So you get a little bit of a break with a travel planner, and it's a $200 deposit. That's it. If you choose to do travel protection, it is the price of that as well. But if you plan with a Disney, travel agent, it's a $200 deposit. It saves your room, your tickets, everything on there, what you want to put on. You can always upgrade from there, and you can, change reservations around if you need to, but it's $200 just to hold your date. And I always advise, if you are thinking about a Disney trip in the next year, just put the $200 down.
Right.
Because it is refundable. So
right, and it's peanuts compared to it's just almost
because
nothing.
I was going to ask you the first question that I knew I was going to have other people ask, as well as it was kind of in the back of my mind. Is it 100% refundable for the down payment? How does that work?
So the down payment is 100% refundable. Now, if you book a trip and you've got the travel insurance on there, the travel protection on there, and something happens and you can't go on the trip, you lose the money that you paid for the travel protection.
Right.
But that's not even as much as most of the time. I mean, depending on the size of the party, you would, because you're actually paying for that service. So
right, and you used it.
Right, exactly. I just had
how long do I?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, we're playing the music game. So how long do I have to, or how far ahead do I have to let you know of my trip to get the full 100%? Because I'm pretty sure if I cancel day before, you're not going to give me the 100%.
No, that's not true. Yeah, that's true. You're not going to get that back. Sorry.
I was going to double check. I might have pushed it. I might have tested you here, Jenny. Yeah, never know.
Maybe just a little.
No, I'm not.
So for all Disney trips, you have to be paid in full 30 days before you travel. So at that 30-day point, you have to be paid in full. Now, if you have travel protection, and say you are just a day or two out. And this actually happened to my family, where we were kind of freaking out a little bit because we were traveling in like cold and flu season in February. And that's when we typically like to go because the crowds are pretty low.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, comparatively.
Still Disney. Right. Yeah.
You're right.
And we thought my son had the flu. So we did have the travel protection included in our trip, so we could reschedule our trip if we needed to. So all we had to do was call Disney and say, hey, he didn't actually end up having the flu, thank goodness.
Oh, good.
So we could have just called them and said, hey, our son is sick. They'd say, do you have the travel they would look and see that we had travel protection on there, and then they would rebook your trip. So
oh, wow. Okay.
it is a drop in the bucket compared to losing out on all that money. Like,
so is it a percentage or what is it?
It's based on a percentage. They actually they raised the rates in the last, like,
of course,
like everything. Like, imagine that Disney raised rates.
What?
So, not surprising anyone, but it used to be a flat fee. But now they base it on the number of adults. Typically, children are free if they're, with adults. But they base it on that. So the more adults in the party that you have going, the more expensive it is, because that's how it goes. So, but I mean, for a family of like two adults, 2 children, it normally runs about $166. So, compared to
for the whole vacation.
Yeah.
So we're talking room, we're talking tickets, we're talking meal plan, we're talking
everything,
all of it, right?
Yep, everything.
Wow.
So compared to losing out on like $5,000,
3,000, 3,000, 5,000,
depending on where you're staying, So it is worth it having it as a backup, and especially if you go on a Disney cruise. Holy cow! Make sure you get it, because hurricanes, like, it's a thing.
Oh yeah,
it's a thing.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good question. We don't really talk about the cruises on this podcast much because we know literally nothing about it.
We've never been on one.
Know nothing about it.
I've been on a cruise, but not Disney.
Not Disney. So same. But the question is from me is it, so if you don't have the protection and something happens where like the trip would get canceled, are you just out? Like, what happens at that point?
So if you don't have the protection and Disney cancels the trip, they will rebook you. But you would have to wait for Disney to cancel it. So if you got on the phone and you were like, we're not going on this trip and we don't have Disney protection, and you cancel it yourself, and then Disney decides in an hour that they're going to cancel it, you would lose out. You would lose out on your whole trip. So yeah. So, and this is straight from the mouth of a Disney cruise agent. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I always tell people too that I am not an insurance agent either. So make sure.
Good disclaimer.
Yes.
Good
Yes. Make sure that you read through everything. As far as the insurance policies and such. Ahead of time, because that's, I mean, I just booked the travel. But I do know the insurance is really good. Like, I've never, like the claims and such, and I haven't had anyone have any problems, and I haven't heard of many people having problems, which is good. So, I mean, they're not going to do anything halfway. I feel like.
Right. No, absolutely. Right. Absolutely. So. And the travel protection is a Disney based service that they include.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They use like a specific agency, to do their travel insurance. And it's something that, I include on there sometimes, and people have the option to use it or not, which is fine. Like, I'm totally cool if you don't use it, but I always tell people with little kids, cold and flu season and hurricane season. Yeah. So, because it's Florida,
like, you never know.
You never know.
But what? You mean they're not going to disassemble Cinderella Castle for the hurricane?
They do clean up really quick around there, though. You would never even know the next day that there was a hurricane.
Really
so it's really crazy, and they all like chip in together, and it's wild. So they make the guests really comfortable if there is any bad weather.
Yeah, I've heard about people who have gotten trapped down there during a hurricane, even when they were supposed to leave, while the hurricane was happening and were trapped. But they brought characters into the resorts, and they came up with more activities in the resorts to be able to keep the guests comfortable and entertained while the situation outside was happening.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's I mean, we already all know, and if you're listening to this and don't know, even with the amount of conversations that we've had, Disney's fabulous with customer service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, it is. It always blows my mind how amazing it is. And that's what I always tell people too. I'm like, when you go to other theme parks, or, we have a local one I live in Richmond, Virginia, and we have a couple, we have Busch Gardens around here in Williamsburg. And then we also have one right outside of Richmond. And we went there this weekend, and I was like, oh, man, this isn't Disney. You get really bougie, like, because you're just like so used to, and the food, it was like everything was beige, and I was like, oh, no. Where
hot dogs, hamburgers, French fries.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that is something that's a little.
Where's my cold strawberry soup from the Grand Floridian?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
Okay, we said we weren't going to make me drool anymore.
Oh no, I already said we had to just completely disclude that.
No,
promise,
I'm pulling it back in.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so then, Jenny, what's the next step for my vacation? So I've already booked the resort with you, and you have an idea about the tickets, and we got the tickets set.
Yeah.
And you hopefully made the adjustment, because I even asked for an adjustment.
Yep.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Wow. I'm like,
did you do that for me?
Wow.
I have not called yet. I'm sorry.
We have high editorial standards here, apparently. Goodness.
So then what's the next step for me in my vacation?
So
what's the next thing that you're looking for?
So the next thing that we're going to do is we have on the calendar, we have our Fast Pass dates, which were 60 days out from that. So on your responsibility part, like it's kind of a relationship. I need, if you have any questions about anything as far as like attractions, I always expect clients to come back to me and ask me questions. Okay. So that would be...
It's good to have that resource.
Yeah. And so I give you a resource where I have curated docs like you were talking about with things about...
Just one or two.
Yeah, just
She's
a couple.
very informative. Not a bad thing.
No, that's high praise from Crystal.
I'm a research junkie, so I love it.
So what I used to do was, really research based, because I worked in childbirth, like with birthing people. So I'm just used to doing stuff like this and like planning and giving people resources. So, so I expect like, hey, if you have any questions, you can still do
this 9 months out too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly the same.
That's hilarious. Giving birth to a Disney vacation. It's a
labor of love, Ian. Come on.
Right, you are.
The pocketbook's going to hurt just as much.
It's true. Honestly, a Disney vacation is much cheaper in the long run. Let's be honest. Just gonna go ahead and say it.
Oh man. Oh god. Okay.
So what I'll have you do is just like look through, and I know that you probably already know what you want to choose as far as like fast passes. But I have people look through and kind of decide. But I really don't bother you too much unless you have questions. The other part of it is it depends on when you book, because the 180-day mark is when you can book dining. Now you are closer, we're closer to your date now, so we can book dining right now. So I would also have you let me know where you would like to eat. Now, if you have any, certain places that you would like to eat. You know, you want to eat at California Grill on your birthday or something like that.
Should I just let you know now in the recording?
You can if you want to.
No, I won't. But no, that's a good idea. I did just have a question pop in my head.
Sure.
So I know that on the WDW website, they require a credit card to be put down to place a reservation. Would I need to, or would you use the credit card that I provided you, the number to hold that reservation, or is that part of my program with you, or how does that work?
So if that, I would ask you ahead of time. I wouldn't just do it, but the credit card that you have on file with me, I would definitely use that one if you wanted me to. Okay. So I can go in and make, and part of this is our relationship. As I book some of these things, I need to have your login for my Disney experience. So if you don't know what that is, my Disney experience is where you plan your whole trip. So, you know, you book your fast passes on there, and we link all of that together, and that has your tickets on there. That's where you order, you know, your customizable magic bands, everything. Like, it's where it all lives. It's where it all comes alive.
All the new magic bands, all the new custom magic bands are already gone.
I know.
Really?
Yeah. They were gone within like the first couple days. It was such a bummer. Yeah. People were having like, on some of the Facebook groups that I'm on, like people were complaining about that a lot. So yeah, it was kind of a bummer, but maybe they'll get more back.
Maybe they'll bring them back before I need to have.
I know. That's what I'm kind of hoping too, is that they have them back in stock soon.
I have a collection going,
but
you know.
I know.
So here's a question regarding Disney My Experience. So when you book the trip, do you need that information then, or are you able to handle that after you've completed the initial stuff? Do you facilitate it through our account, or do you need the information after you've started it?
So my agent website is different than what my Disney experience is. You can go on there and book a trip for yourself if you wanted to, but what I see is different. It's a special travel agent site. But that is probably one of my biggest complaints, is that I can't access my clients, my Disney experience, except for through their login information. I mean, some people, I've had one person tell me they didn't want me to have it, which is fine, but that limits, like, I can't book your fast passes and your dining for you. Yeah. So most of the time we make it something, you know, pretty easy to remember, and then I take that information down and I can get in there and link everything for you. So
and then if they really wanted to, after you were done with their vacation,
just change the password.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're like, I don't want Jenny in my account. So, but most of the time, people don't have my Disney Experience accounts. So I give them information after they've booked the trip, after they've paid their deposit. Okay. Like, I always send people information, emails with links in it, so it'll take you right to the site. You know, you can open up your My Disney Experience and then share that information with me, and then I can go in and book dining for you if we're already at that 180-day mark. And here's the cool thing about dining. I have a couple sites that I use. So say we're, you know, past that 180-day mark, and you really want to take little Sally to Cinderella's royal table for a princess dinner or whatever.
Sure. What if I just want to go?
Well,
what if it's just Crystal?
What if little Crystal wants to go? So, actually,
there ain't nothing little about me.
It's all good, girl. Same here. Honestly, I think I liked the Cinderella's royal table more than my daughter did. So it's fine. It's fine, right?
But that's because you can appreciate it.
I know,
more,
right?
Fair.
So I have a couple things that I use that will notify me sometimes at 3 a.m. that a reservation becomes available. And and then I can go on and snag it for you. If something like that, like there are just places that that are really popular that people like to eat at, that like California Grill and Ohana, and that are just that are harder to get sometimes unless you are right on there at that 180 day mark. So I will sign up for some of those, and I'll try to snag those reservations for you. Sometimes it takes a little time, and sometimes we don't end up getting them, but I always try my hardest to get everything that you want. But for the most part, I have pretty good luck with it.
So. And you were also telling me earlier that, not just the reservations, are you able to kind of snag last minute things, but being the travel planner that you are, the Disney travel planner, if the hotels happen to go down or if they have a discount that they're running,
yes,
you're able to find those for us without me having to recheck the website every few days.
You don't have to do
make
that.
Sure that I'm still getting the best deal.
Yep. So
and that's huge.
Yes.
Like both the dining, like having the ability to have her track dining and be able to track discounts and things on your existing vacation are just gigantic. Like I can't even. The value added there is ridiculous.
Yeah, and like Disney will come out with promos a lot of times, and I see them because
they let you know first, right?
Like I get notifications, I get emails for it that say, hey, we're starting to run this promo for the fall or winter or whatever it is. And so I'll get those, and what I will do is I'll look at my list of who I have booked, and I will turn around and I'll call Disney right away, and I'll have them add that. So it most of the time will save you some money. So you don't have to be looking for that at all. That is something that I always automatically do when a promo comes out, is that I'll go through all of my clients and see who's traveling when and if that would affect them. And then I call and I figure it out. And then you just have to pay less when your 30-day mark comes around, which is pretty cool.
So I know that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So yeah,
But if you can find me a cheaper deal than I could find myself, I'm interested.
I know. It's we had talked about this. There's all the, we hear like all these like travel agent rumors, and like they're like, well, are they even going to have any offers for the fall because of Galaxy's Edge? So so some people are like really grouchy.
They did not offer free dining this round.
That's true. They didn't.
Well, they did. They had through September, because I have a few people going in September for free dining, but I know. Well, they had free dining last year, the very last week of November. And you know what? Okay. I would, you never know, because if they have some light weeks, they might even put it up there. Like, I think that they really do look and see, and it just depends on how Galaxy's Edge does, because
probably not Halloween weekend when I'm going, though. That's a pretty popular
hate to break that to you, but it's going to probably be a Crystal.
It's okay. I've already made peace with it.
But that week is so fun. We went for my son's birthday one year, and it was such a great week to be there. So
yeah, it'll be good. So how far out can you plan a trip?
So Disney is really fun, and they only give us dates for certain times. So right now we are booking out till December 31st, 2020. And that's all I can book you out till right now, which is
about a year and a half out.
Yeah. Which is pretty good. But when we get to June of next year and we're trying to look at those, dates in January and February of 2021, that gets a little rough, because people are kind of like biting at the bullet, to get those dates in. So we just had a rush, because normally all the dates for the next year come out in June. So even if you're like thinking like, hey, we are not going to be able to go until 2021. A lot of times I have a list of people, and then when the dates come out,
good to know,
I just get you a quote. So I have you on my list, and I send you a quote once those dates come out.
So then Jenny put us on the list for October 1st, 2021 for the 50th anniversation.
Yes. I will definitely do that.
I need to be there day one.
Oh, girl. It's going to be so rad. Oh, I can't wait.
I am not going to be able to drive anywhere on my scooter. It's going to be so packed.
It's going to be New Year's up in there.
Oh
my God.
Man.
But I'm excited. So 2021, just in case people didn't know, is the 50th anniversary of Disney World. It was made in 1971. October 1st is the day that it opened, to be specific. And that's why I am making this reference, because it is going to be crazy. And if I have an in with a travel agent to get my room secured, dang it, I'm going to take advantage of it.
You fill that form out, girl. You do it.
I will. Don't worry.
I'm probably going to be right there with you. Don't you worry.
That'd be some fun live Insta stuff. It'll be good.
Yes, I can't wait. So it'll be really fun.
So the next question that I had, and I did bring this up before we started recording, but I think this is, it's something that I think is a good idea to let people know too. If you are already booked through a different hotel, but you still want to have assistance with things like getting tickets and that sort of thing, they can still reach out to you, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's like, as long as it's more than 3 days that you're getting park tickets, you're able to help them out, right?
Yes, I am. So sometimes staying on property isn't a reality for a lot of people, which is totally fine. Orlando has some really awesome hotels and, resort-like places, and I help
Airbnb.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can help find those too. I don't, I'm a travel agent. Like,
'cause you're not just strictly Disney.
No, I book Universal. Like, that's another one of my bread and butters, is Universal.
Sure.
I love me some Harry Potter. I have a Harry Potter tattoo.
Oh,
so
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nerd, I love it.
Nerd, I love it.
I definitely have robes, and yeah.
Me too. Are you a Hufflepuff?
No.
Oh,
Guess what I am?
This is getting to be I bet you're a Ravenclaw.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna guess Slytherin then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I wondered.
We were running out of houses here.
I know, it's
but
so
you
shameful.
Don't seem like you would be a Gryffindor.
Not a classic Gryffindor.
But you're hanging out with two Hufflepuffs here.
Yes,
so that's
I
where I
love
was
it.
like, are you a Hufflepuff too? And we can puff together? That sounded bad.
That sounded bad.
Family friendly.
This family friendly Disney podcast into a not family friendly Harry Potter podcast. I don't know how we got to this point.
But it's good to know that you do that.
Yeah,
I know that there's like the good neighbor resorts as well that aren't strictly Disney, but there's a lot of different options. But
absolutely,
I want to make sure that people understand that they can work with you and have your assistance, even if they're not getting the full package. Whether you don't have to have the resort, the ticket, the dining plan, Magic Express, and everything going along with it.
No.
You're able to help them out with even the small things like getting tickets.
Yeah.
Now you do have that cap that you need to have to be able to assist, and 3 days is not that bad.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not.
Not at all.
And and if people, I've had this situation a couple times where people have just booked, the tickets through me. And I'm happy to give the information, to some of it doesn't apply because you can't, you're not able to do a dining plan and such.
Right.
But the park information that I give, is always helpful, especially if you're a first timer, and you're not. Yeah. I promise I'm really nice. Like I really try to help. I mean, I just love helping people do this, because sometimes I get people that are like, oh, my partner doesn't really want to go, and they think it's just going to be crowded and a lot of money. And I'm always like, it's always my goal. I'm like, I'm going to change their mind. I'm going to make you a lover of Disney, because
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband is like, he is an introvert and like he doesn't like crowds and people and things and like, but
I was literally getting ready to elbow
relatable.
nudge.
Yeah, Max relatable.
But he loves Disney. Like he loves Disney. So I'm always like, if he likes Disney, anyone can like Disney. Like,
I can make you like Disney too. Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's a nice, a good strategy in the end, because I've had that with friends that I've taken, and they've been like, I want to go to Universal, but I'm not even sure I want to stay on property at Disney. I don't even know that I want to go more than one day. I'm like, oh no, we're gonna do that, and they were begrudgingly like, oh, I actually really like that. That was nice.
even my brother, he was a Universal guy, and he started listening to the podcast because he wanted to support his big sister. Yay, thanks, Jake. And he even admitted, he's like, you've been changing my mind about Disney.
Yeah.
And so they've planned a couple Disney trips.
That's awesome.
To see what Disney's like as an adult instead of how we look at it for children.
Yeah,
right.
It's such a different experience. Yeah.
And I think that...
So then, on that note, are you able to help spa packages?
Yeah, I can do all of that stuff. So I can book spa stuff. I can book bibbidi bobbidi. I can book, anything. If you want to do like a fireworks, dessert cruise.
Package. Oh.
I can do all of that stuff.
You can help with the special tickets as well.
Yes.
Not just the standard tickets.
Yes. So Disney after hours and like, over the summer they're doing the villains. Disney villains after hours. Like I can help book all of those tickets. So, and I always ask that if you're interested in doing anything like that, even if you're interested in doing like Keys to the Kingdom tour, any special,
you can go that far?
Yeah, I can book any VIP experiences that you're interested in doing. So, yeah, you should do that when you're there. You should have have you ever done that before? The Keys to the Kingdom?
No,
I don't have enough money.
It's not that bad, actually. It's really not. Like in the grand scheme of things, it could be much worse. Like,
True.
But it is expensive. But
yes,
that's funny.
So
maybe one day, maybe when I'm a jet setter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just the jet setter.
I know.
Very fun.
Watch. It's to come.
It's
coming soon.
Coming soon to a podcast near you. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, goodness, that's a lot of
stuff
that we're talking about here.
That's a lot.
I think our next one will probably be more laser focused with you on maybe something more specific.
Yeah, sure.
And we can kind of dive into something more in depth, because you are an expert. You've had to take the classes for this, so it'll be kind of fun to get an expert opinion on some of these things that we've always been kind of thought maybe we knew, but something more concrete.
Yeah.
So that'll be really fun. But it's really nice to get you on the podcast finally.
Yeah,
final introduction.
Chat with you.
Yeah.
Finally an introduction. Final introduction.
Final introduction.
Jeez.
Wow.
I'm like, are you firing me?
Wow.
I love you, Jenny. You stay right here.
Stay right here. Don't go anywhere. That's awesome. Yeah. So that was really fun. Yeah, it was.
It was good to talk.
Good to talk. Yeah, good to talk
thank
to
you
you
for
again.
answering some of my questions.
Oh, of course. I love to answer questions.
and thank you for my Disney vacation.
You're very welcome. Now I'm going to go ahead and call them and make sure I make that change for you.
Wow, way to put you on the spot in the middle of a live podcast.
Nah, it's okay. It's cool.
Way to get things done.
Jeez. That is hilarious.
And now I have documented proof that she's going to change it.
I know, right? It's partly it's because the wait times have been so crazy to get on the phone with them lately, because when they open those 2020 dates, like it's been bonkers.
Oh,
yeah, everyone's.
So
do you have It's a Small World over and over and over again, like I did that one time?
I'm trying to think of the music that they've had lately. They've had the Haunted Mansion music. They've had
that's way better.
Yeah, it's much better. They've had. I'm trying to think of what some of the other ones. It's kind of been an interesting mix.
Small World over and over again.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yes. I mean, I love Small World, don't get me wrong, but
in moderate doses.
When you're waiting on hold to try and speak to someone, that's not necessarily the
No, it kind of would drive you a little crazy. So
especially if you have to call regularly.
yes.
So that brings up another good point. So if somebody wanted to, before we wrap up here, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
So you can email me directly. I'm Seawitch, like sea is in the ocean, and then witch, like a Halloween witch, .adventures at gmail.com. Yep. Okay. And I do have an Instagram account, and I'm pretty...
And that's how I talk.
I'm pretty active on that. I love Instagram. That is my social media of choice. So I'm on there as seawitch.adventures on Instagram. I have a Facebook page, and I answer that on a regular basis too. So if you message me there, I can never remember like the Facebook. It's like / whatever. I can never remember it, but if you just like search me on Facebook, I have a page on there. I'm seawitch.adventures.
You got a cool logo with like Ursula tentacles.
I do. Yeah, I've got my
distinctive.
Yeah, like I have a huge Ursula tattoo. She is my she is my spirit animal. So I love some Ursula.
I'm a villain.
Absolutely.
I've always loved villains.
Also, Ian's not.
I'm not, I guess. You know, I kind of ride, you know, I'm true neutral.
We did give you a villain.
I'm Tamatoa from
Moana.
You
would be Tamatoa if you were going to be a villain.
This is true. I can't deny that.
I love it.
And also, if you are on our carouselpodcast.com, you can find Jenny's information under the sponsorship tab. So that is also available.
Yay! Yeah, thanks, guys.
She's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you can tell, she's awesome people,
Yes.
just like us. If you put up with us, you would love her.
I like dad jokes in old lady clothes. Like, yeah. I wear
again with the blazer.
Yeah,
With the blazer,
yeah. I wear some really crazy glasses and like.
And Golden Girls all over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Love it.
And
all right, well, let's...
and I will say, if anyone is like nervous about booking a trip and I have my form, but I am always more than willing to talk on the phone to people, FaceTime, whatever, so you can like actually converse. I have a lot of older clients that I work with a lot of times that have a hard time. They're like, can I like talk to you? And I'm never opposed to that. So I absolutely get it. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Just pull you onto the podcast, whatever is the easiest way to get a hold of you.
Totally.
We'll just email us directly.
Absolutely.
All good.
I love it. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you.
This has been good.
It's been fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Just must be. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's wrap this puppy up. Thank you so much for listening and watching. This is WD Carousel Podcast. I'm Ian.
And I'm Crystal. Pausing for Jenny.
And I'm Jenny.
And we hope you have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Just a dream away.